Welcome to the HVAC Grapevine, where building science and HVAC finally sit down at the same table. This is the place where ducts get judged, airflow gets measured, and industry news gets blown around harder than an undersized return air grill. If you came here just to kill time, sorry, you're about to accidentally learn something. Sit tight, laugh a little, and maybe even walk away with enough HVAC trivia to make your co-workers question your social life. The show's about to start, so strap in tighter than a zip tie on flex duct and grab a chair that doesn't rock like an out-of-balance blower wheel. Let's start the show.
Heat or cold, we hold the line. Answers you need, clear and fine. Experts talking truth in mind. This is the HVAC Grapevine.
Boom, boom.
Killer.
All right, man. New season, new shows, new guest, new attitude. A lot of fun going on. Mike, a lot of ground to cover, bro. A lot of ground.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely, man. It's good to be back with the new season, man.
Yeah.
I'm super
All right.
excited.
So here's what I'm going to say. Kick the season off with this topic. I have received a countless amount of telephone calls, and one of the common trends is building science, and these are HVAC owners who want to get into the building science side of things, and I'm not sure how deep they want to go, but what they want to do is understand this whole sizing right, permanent load reduction opportunity, blower door testing, figure it into my load. You know the spill.
Oh,
And
yeah.
they're like, hey, here's the magic question I always get asked. What's the fast track to get my guys up to speed with that? Like the fast track. And I'm like, man, that is such a hard question to answer. So the reason I bring that up is we need to answer that question. So I started thinking with this new season, we need to invite people on who are, I'm just going to say it, experts at making this happen. They have a lot of experience. There's not exactly a playbook that has always existed for this to be really easy to get done. And these people are doing it. They figured out a way to make it faster. They're probably going to say, hey, I don't have every answer in the book, but I've got a couple good answers and it's working for me. And so I wanted to put some shows together where people are getting this done efficiently, right? And maybe we can entertain them enough to have them spill some of their secrets.
Absolutely.
That's the plan. So
Yeah.
if you've
I can tell you on a small scale how to do that, but on a big scale for a big company, it's a total different beast.
Yep. So with that being said, what better person to kick off the new season with someone who I see all over the place on social media, from LinkedIn to Facebook. I mean, you can't open your phone without seeing this guy show up and talking about building science, and that is Brynn Cooksey. So I'm going to bring Brynn on right now. Brynn.
All right.
Woo! How are you?
What's up, Chris? What's up, Mike? You
Hey,
guys
man.
have by far the nicest intro I've ever seen on a conversation. So that's number one. You take the belt.
Yeah, man. When I got my downtime, I play around with all my media assets that I got out there, and I have learned how to do other things than HVAC work.
I could tell that was awesome. Wasn't expecting that,
killer.
but totally it was killer.
Thanks.
How you guys doing?
Shout out to my brother for the audio.
Yeah. Yeah. We had to pull a few strings to get all that pulled off, but it worked out.
That's awesome. How you guys doing?
Man, I'm doing great. But I'll tell you, Brynn, the phone calls keep coming, man. They keep coming. And I guess, like I work for TEC. Obviously we make the gear, and yeah, I've ran blower doors and all that. But I can't tell you that I ever owned or ran a company that was like deep into building science. Like I wasn't turning out unicorns and stuff like that for people who could, do the heavy lifting to go make perfect quotes appear and figure out if we need to do permanent load reduction to the house. So that being said, man, we need advice, bro. We need advice from the pros like yourself. And yeah, and you're, in my opinion, man, you're way up there on that list. So,
Yeah. I listened to your podcast with Bill Spohn. That was killer, man.
Thank you.
yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm just trying to create some content and hold it in a place where I can direct people and they say, "Hey, how do I get people on the fast track?" And I'm saying this because I literally had this conversation with a guy Friday who owns a pretty nice sized company. And he goes, we're doing things different, right? He's like, I don't want to be the box swapper. He's like, I'm doing this. He goes, but I'm doing it all by myself. And I need more of my guys to be able to do it. He goes, like air conditioning wise, we got it on lockdown. He's like, we're doing loads on every job. We're doing this, we're doing that. He goes, but how do I get it to the next level? How do I incorporate blower door on every job if I want to? How do I incorporate, do I always do a true flow test or something like that? And I was like, just inspired me to say, you know what? It's time. It's time we have to like sit down and write the playbook. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's got to be commonplace, just like air conditioning. And so,
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested to hear your take on all that.
That's a fairly good question that you guys get from other people. I had the same question too, because most contractors, they want to do the right thing, and it can be costly and a lot of training. So trying to figure out how to get into the market is pretty important. So taking a step back, I took a building science class probably about 20 years ago. And when I took that class, it was for BPI certification. The stuff I learned just kind of blew my mind. It was I was learning about things that were in the house that I was missing, that had a measurement to it that I didn't measure, or I had not been measuring it. And once I kind of figured that out and took the class, basically I stepped back and I said, okay, how can I implement this stuff in a practical approach? So when you use the term fast track, I don't know if that's actually possible. It takes a lot of capital and a lot of discipline to do it. So I'll tell you how I went about it. The first thing I did, I took my class in the fall. So walking out of my building science class, I started incorporating combustion analysis. I bought a combustion analyzer, and I was just solo tech at the time. And basically, I wanted to master the instrument, and I wanted to use it on every call. And when I use it on every call, I wanted to collect the data and kind of see what were the things that I was missing. And when I did that, I made a commitment. I said, okay, whatever combustion appliance I'm going to interact with, I'm going to probe this appliance every single time. I just made a commitment to do it. And
Awesome.
the analyzer, when I bought it, was probably $2,000 at the time. And probably in the first 5 jobs, I have found 2 cracked heat exchangers. And
Wow.
yeah, found 2 cracked heat exchangers, and I measured them. And unfortunately, I would say if I didn't have the analyzer, the equipment looked good enough where I probably would have fixed it if I didn't have that tool. So once I saw that, and I saw how the information actually converted over to a sale, because we turn those into sales for that, I said every single time every time I walk into a house, we're going to use this. And then when I started rolling my company, it was a procedure. Like it's a non-negotiable. So if a tech rolls to a house, if it's a combustion appliance that we're going to get into, they have to take combustion measurements. We even keep a spare. That way, if sensors go out of whack or battery dies or something happens, we'll have somebody from the office run the analyzer out just to get that information, just because of how valuable it was. So that was kind of the first thing I did, was incorporate that. Then the next thing I did, I'll say, I wanted to do load calcs, and when I learned load calc, it was none of the software that we have. This amazing software was is here.
Yeah.
This lidar
Right?
stuff,
It's crazy now, man.
super crazy, and it's not fair.
Woo.
I had to struggle.
Right?
Shout out to Ed and Alex. I had to struggle through the speed sheets, and
Woo. Oh,
yep,
you did the speed sheets.
I did
All
the speed
right.
sheets way back when.
I
And
feel like it's better to do it that way first, man. I don't know. I'm weird.
I agree. I agree with that statement. I always teach techs to do it by hand, and then once you understand garbage in is garbage out, then you can use the
Right.
software.
Yeah.
But now I can get a tech in with conduit or ampli, and basically they can get a load calc done in 20 minutes, where I would have to draw the house up, come back with a bunch of notes, do the speed sheets, or maybe use a software 2D software to put stuff in. So that was the second thing we kind of incorporated, and again it was a commitment. It was like, okay, every single call we're going to do this no matter what, even if it took longer, we were going to do it. And what I did to account for my time, I just baked the labor in for the load calc into my pricing. So if a job
Okay.
took 8 hours, I would put 10, just to kind of accommodate the load calc.
Mhm.
And then once we got good with load calc, I wanted to figure out a way to kind of offset the slow season, the shoulder months where HVAC revenues typically will fall. So
Okay.
what I did there, I basically learn how to do energy audits top to bottom with the blower door. So we bought a blower door, and we offered that as a service and partnered with the utility company to keep us busy during the slow season. Matter of fact, that's what we're doing now as we're starting to get cooler. Um, and
Great
once
advice, man.
once I got the blower door, I started incorporating the blower door number into my load calcs. So to answer your question, Chris, it's a steady diet of buying the tools, testing it, getting good at it, communicating with the customer using it, and then over time, build your processes and procedures in your business so that it's commonplace. So now every tech on every truck has a blower door. They do a load calc and they can boom,
Woo.
everything is done. So
Wait. What? Did I hear that right?
you heard it right. Every truck, every tech,
Man.
load calc software, indoor air quality
Dude.
machine. Like it's in our DNA to do that kind of stuff to build in
That
science.
is awesome. That's impressive, man.
So, Brynn, I got to ask a question right here. A question that I get asked a lot is, how do I charge for this? So a lot of people ask me, is this much good for a blower door test? Is this much good for this test? And as like a manufacturer, I don't know, I'm still kind of
Right.
new to the manufacturing side when it comes to stuff like what I'm supposed to say, what I'm not supposed to say in that scenario.
Mhm.
So like I'll leave a lot of things up for like, you should call this guy. He's close to you. He does that. Maybe pick his brain, see what the market's going for. But
Yeah.
I heard you say something interesting during that spiel. You said that you would build it into your job, right?
Mhm.
Are you saying like you'll go in and you'll do the test, and if you get the job, it's baked into the bigger job? So you're not charging for it necessarily up front. You're saying it's, in your opinion, maybe better to put it on the back end in the big project of things.
Exactly. So it's a couple different ways we could talk about that.
Mhm.
So first and foremost, when you're planning to buy the equipment, put the equipment costs into your overhead costs. And then also, as you know, working for TEC, there's a calibration that's required.
Mhm.
The shipping and stuff, I bake that all into my overhead costs, the cost of doing business.
Nice.
I even
Okay.
bake in some of a tool repair. Like if we had a loose sensor on a blower door, I bake in a couple $100 for that blower door to get it tightened. So we bake in
Yeah.
all that. Um,
Yep.
you also have to do the numbers to find out what your hourly rate is, because it all breaks down to hourly for the technician, and you have to account for their drive time. So once you
Right.
have your overhead, you have your hourly, which incorporates that, and you got to make a profit. You put that all together, and you sell it like you would sell any other system component.
Yep.
Right.
Yep,
Just like
I,
a capacitor.
yeah, exactly. Yep.
we had a price for even like torch usage with so many sticks of solder, because solder started to get a little pricey, right?
Mhm.
It
It's like,
did,
I
yeah.
think it
That's
was like,
right.
what do we, it's like $4 a stick or something like that. I'm trying to remember. It's been a while. But like like nitrogen use, like we used to, when I was a contractor, when we were playing the game, if nitrogen came off the truck, it was being billed, even though we might only use it a little bit, right? It's still getting billed as a service, or attached to something. It
Right.
can't just
Yeah.
be like, well, I used this nitrogen 50 times till the tank
Yep.
ran dry. Okay, well, like you might use it the next time you fill it up, you may only get one use out of that tank. And it's just so loosey goosey. You got to put a number into your business for using that tank every time it comes off the truck.
Absolutely.
And I think that's what you're saying is like some tools that are going to get reused a bunch. Yes, they pay for themselves. But like you said, there's calibration. They're going to break eventually. You got to replace them. There has to be some level of like, I've got to keep billing this tool out.
Absolutely. Yeah, we call that stuff consumables. We have a charge for that. That stuff is important. You got to recruit that in order to be profitable. How we handle it when let's say a technician goes to a system, and right now we're still in AC season. Let's say they go to a system and let's say it's old, is leaking refrigerant. We use Measure Quick to basically profile the system and get a score. The techs are trained to sit down with the customer, show them the score, and show them the problems. And if the customer is interested, a lot of times they would start the conversation about replacement. And let's say they go through with that replacement, what the technicians would do, which is part of the scope of the job, they would have collected some kind of deposit or started some kind of financing transaction. Once the job is kind of booked, the technicians on site will do a load calc, and then they'll do a blower door, and they'll bring that information back to the office, and then we'll get equipment prepared and all that kind of stuff. So that part of it is baked into the job.
Wow. Dude, I thought I was doing advanced stuff. I mean, I'm doing a load calc on a system estimate, but you're doing the blower door included. Woo! I love it, man.
So, Brynn, I gotta ask you, man, because you're a numbers guy, what is your close rate typically since you've incorporated this process?
Easy, 60%.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah.
That's really good. Looking at the industry. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
And I imagine you get some killer feedback, which probably is helping you close more sales, like, right?
I mean, look at the value, Chris. I mean, they know the leakage on the envelope. They know what they're getting into before they put that system in. I mean, that's insane. I love it.
Yeah. When we
It's
do
less liability for him.
Big time. We haven't even talked about that. I was going to say, from a sales
in my mind, man.
If it's a marketed lead, let's say a customer goes on Google, we won't charge for that. But the reason why, because that's a question I get a lot of times, Chris, is contractors feel like, hey, we buy all this equipment, should we be charging for estimates? And I understand that argument, and what I typically would tell contractors is the better you get at selling and communicating the diagnostic readings, the less you'll have to charge because you show the value and you blow every other contract out the water. So for a marketed lead, we don't charge for it, but if we show the customer, hey, we're doing this stuff and this is standard, this is what you should be doing, and the other 5 competitors didn't, it helps our chances.
Yeah. I've had this conversation along with a lot of people we probably mutually know. Do you think we get a little bit too techie? You know what I'm saying? And we don't have enough sales background. Like and this is generally speaking, generally, the smaller mom and pop shops are very good technicians. And then the big companies have a lot of salespeople who are very well trained in sales. And maybe they're moving boxes only, right? And I'm not saying all of them, but generally that's just kind of the way it's been. And it's how do I say this? Those smaller guys, they get mad because like maybe these guys are getting a lot of the sales. And it's like, well, we could be techie, but at the same time, we need to work on our sales skills, right? And it's like you have to attack it on both fronts.
Yeah,
and I think
or you could do what he's doing. He's building value to the customer. He's showing them the leakage rate. He's showing them the load calc. Well, and then he's marrying the blower door with the load calc. It's beautiful.
Well, I think that's Brynn's sales approach. When you say Brynn, like your kind of approach is, sales with data, right?
Yes. Yeah. 100%. You hit it on the nail, Chris. Sales is not a dirty word. You have to communicate well with the customer. So we did invest in that kind of training. We took DISC profile training, personality profile, to see what customer attributes were, and that was huge. Like if you give you an example, if I deal with a person who's a D profile, that means they want information quick and they make decisions quick. So I can't do a lot of dog and pony show. I have to get my numbers and show them this is the data. Hey, your system's oversized, extra small. Here you go. Here's a price, and that person typically makes a decision quick. Where if I
Wow.
deal with like a C personality, they always have to think about it and they need more data, more data, more data. So I might have to spend a little bit more time with that person. So you're right. You do have to learn the sales part of it, but using the data to communicate. So that's something I think our company does well.
Brynn, does I man, this is really good, but I gotta ask. My next question is, do you have technicians who go in and do the work, collect the data, pass it off to somebody who then shows up and kind of carries out the sales side of that, or is it one and the same?
We invested in all our techs to have sales training. Another study that I'm trying to remember where it's from, but customers, residential customers, when you're doing a typical, heating and cooling transaction, they actually value the technician the most. Um,
Yeah.
and when a technician is there,
I agree.
when they have the measurements, like using Measure Quick or some other platform to show the customers the data, that technician is probably higher in the mind than a salesperson would be.
Hmm.
So we try not to hand it off. We may, if we had like a timid sales tech who probably was uncomfortable with sales or big numbers until they got
Hmm.
comfortable in the groove. But for the most part, our techs are trained to interact with that customer to get the job completed.
Yeah.
Saves a lot of time too.
It
They're
does.
on
Yep.
site, you know.
Yep.
That's
Well,
beautiful.
I also look at that as, as we all get older in the trade, when someone has segued into being a technician and then they've gotten good at sales and they become like a dominator in your company as sales, there's a place for them always, right? It's
Mhm.
like you don't always have to be on the install side of things. If you've gotten good at closing jobs, that's super valuable. And especially if you're a guy who knows how to sell with the data, your research, and then that top tier guy now becomes the guy who goes in a home, makes the homeowners feel comfortable, runs a load count, runs a blower door, maybe runs a true flow test, maybe runs a Measure Quick report, collects it and piles all the data and goes, this is what you have. This is what you need. What would you like me to explain on top of that? You know?
Yeah, and get the customers involved. Show them why you're testing the various things. I found that to be pretty important too. So, no, if you couple the sales with the diagnostic testing, it really helps the customer. They're getting a quieter system, is properly sized. Their bills are going to be reduced. They're going to be more comfortable. And we even look at indoor air quality, so we're going to help some respiratory health as well.
Oh wow.
Nice.
You could jump into that anytime you want.
So I'll give you my 1, 2, 3 punch on the sales
All right.
classification. All right.
Yeah, because I've been
So
trying to incorporate that into my business. It's
yeah,
it's it's tough when to jump in, man. You know.
it is. It is. So if I if I personally go on a sales call, and this is our sales procedure with our company, after interacting with the customer, we fill out a survey with the customer, and basically the survey is just questions that capture what the customer is experiencing. Like, why did you call us? Why are we here? Is the system older? Is it antiquated? Is it leaking refrigerant? Had you already had a service? We ask a bunch of questions to see what's going on. And our questionnaire even goes deeper. We start asking them even about specific rooms they're in. So do you have any rooms that are warm or cold? Do you have allergies, asthma? We go through a real detailed survey. That takes about 5 or 10 minutes. Once we let me go back. Before we launch the survey, I'll plug in my IAQ device, and the IAQ is going to take a continuous air sample, and in 30 minutes is going to give us a report of what's going on in the air. So I start my device. I go in and I do the survey, and then I'll explain to the customer what I'm going to do. I'll tell the customer, hey, I'm going to take a couple pictures, and I'm going to look at the house to get the proper size for the furnace and AC. And I'm also going to measure the duct system to see what type of system that we have. And if you're welcome, you're more than welcome to join me. So I'll use the LiDAR based tools now. I'll capture the load, and then I'll do a true flow. The minute you guys came out with that,
Cool.
I was one of the first early adopters for that. I'll do a true flow static pressure test
Me
and
and you.
airflow. Yep. So I got air quality report, I got a load count, and I got duct static pressure and airflow, and I got that probably within the first half hour I was there. All right.
Yeah.
So once I get that, and I got my pictures of the existing equipment, I sit the customers down, and I just kind of point to what they have and what the system says as far as size and capacity. And then I show them that if you swap the box and you don't look at the duct system, we're going to be back here with a failed system, and I just kind of show them the data. And then to throw the cherry on top, I'll show them the IAQ report, and that's how we'll start to talk about solutions like ERVs or enhanced filtration and stuff like that. So I use all the data to drive the conversations. And when I'm done, I'll let the customer decide what they want to do. And it's really eye-opening. Once they see the problems of their system, they can't unsee it. When they book the job, then I'll turn around and I'll do the blower door test and refine my load calc a little bit. The goal is to get in and out of the house within an hour. And if I can do that, if I can keep it to an hour, a lot of contractors, their fear is that they get with a customer who's not really interested or capable of buying, and they feel like they waste time. So one thing we did too, we put that time of the salesperson into our overhead.
Yeah.
So our service calls, our installs, they all pay for that labor. So if you take that out the equation, and your whole entire company is carrying that wage, then it's no big deal. You can just do what you got to do.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Smart.
That's awesome. So that was going to be my other question. Where are you sneaking in the true flow? Okay. So that paints a great picture, man. I appreciate that.
Yep.
Man, so what I want to do right now is just switch gears just a little bit. Mike, did you hear that? You hear that sound?
What? I didn't hear.
Hold on. There's a sound. You ever hear that?
It's time to play. What's that noise?
What is that noise?
I hear that.
What in the is that noise?
All right. So we're going to play a game, Brynn. It's called What's That Noise? Are you ready? All right, so this is how it works. We're going to play a sound. You're only going to get a small snippet of the sound, just a little bleep second, all right?
Okay. Yep.
Now, if you're in the chat, now this is where you get to watch the chat, and you get to have your friends who are watching the show help you out. So if you're in the chat, this is your chance to participate and help Brynn out and win the game. Okay. So Brynn, we're going to put this on the screen. You're going to see a black screen with some text, and then you're going to have to listen. We're all going to have to be real quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to hear a fraction of the sound, and then I'm going to give you a minute to answer that
It's
question,
quick.
right? And see if, all right, you ready?
Yep.
All right. We'll play it twice just because this is the first round. Ready?
Yeah.
William Copeland.
Wait.
Whoa, what did he say?
Oh, tell us what you think it is.
I think it's a Copeland scroll.
Oh my God.
All right, don't say nothing, man. Hold on. Let's see what the chat says. Let's get some chat help. If you're out there, let's help Brynn out here. What do we think it is? All right. I'm going to play it one more time, Brynn, for you, just to give you a chance to confirm. You ready?
Yep.
All right, here we go.
Man with dementia, I will probably be able to identify that. I've heard enough of those. I've heard enough of those in my career to know what that is.
All right, man. Tell us.
I told Chris, I was like, that's too short, bro. But he said if he had dementia, he would pick that up. And I'm with you, bro.
Yeah.
Man, this guy, he speaks my language, bro.
All right, man. What do you think, Brynn? What do you think?
I think a compressor, scroll compressor.
All right, let's play the video.
17 at a.
Look at that, man. Look at that. Just for that, we're going to go ahead and go to the judges.
Somebody's been paying attention.
Oh, man. Johnny Supertech showed up to say, awesome job, Brynn. Awesome
We got
job.
a bigger budget this year. We had John.
Yeah.
All right, so that's our
That
play a
was awesome.
sound game, and because Brynn knocked it out the park, Brynn, you've earned your right to plug anything you want to on the show, man. So you've got your spill, run with it. Tell
Awesome.
the people what you want them to hear.
Well, if any of those contractors want to learn more about our process, we would totally teach it to you using building science for our HVAC sales. So I am actually looking forward to talk about this at the symposium next year.
Oh,
Yep, using building science to close at the kitchen table. So we give a sales course all over the country. If you're interested, hit us up. My website is www.hvactrain.com, HVACTRAIN.com, and that is HVACU.
that is
Back you.
awesome.
So go check out Brynn. You're hearing it right here live, how the man's getting it done. So if you're interested, go follow him. He's all over social media.
Yeah,
All
where
right.
do you like people to reach out to you on social media? What's a good platform for you?
LinkedIn is my preferred. If they search the Air Doctor or type in my name, Brynn Cooksey, it should pop up. Follow me and connect. I'll connect back, and you'll see. We usually will post our events and stuff on social media also. And Facebook is Brynn Cooksey, the same thing. Brynn Cooksey, the Air Doctor.
Nice. All right. Right before we jump into our regular scheduled program, I got one more announcement to make. We were hosting the show previously. Me and Mike would get hit up from time to time for sponsorships and things like that. And we never really wanted to jump into that world because we want to control this ecosystem, right? We don't want people telling us what to do. But there is a lot of people who did reach out and they were like, oh, we want to help. We want to donate. We want to do this. And so here's what we've decided to do with the show. If you're out there and you're like, man, I am gaining something from this show. Like, thank you for putting this on. Thanks for bringing Brynn on. I want to help. I want to help some kind of way. Here's where we're going to ask you to help. Grit. I'm not sure if is that coming through? Yeah, you can hear me. Okay.
Yep.
So like the Grit Foundation, that is Brian Orr, Lalani, and a couple others. I mean, who doesn't want to hang out with Ty Brannaman, right? I mean, if you want Ty Brannaman coming to your place and then like teaching kids on how to get into the trades, I mean, let's get real. That's freaking awesome. So we're in full support of this, and there's a QR code in the corner. And if this is something you want to like help out with, then by all means, scan the QR code, throw them a couple bucks, skip coffee one morning or something, right? And
Yeah, whatever you can.
Yeah, like they're taking kids and getting them into the trades. I mean, that's awesome. So
Hey, throw that back up there. Was that Bert up there in the left-hand corner?
I think so. Yeah.
Oh,
sure is.
snap.
Yep.
Throwing the deuces up. Shout out to Bert.
Shout out to Bert. So anyway,
Nice.
I'm looking forward to them August 22nd. They'll be here in Detroit running their grit camp.
I was just about to say,
yeah.
Brynn's hosting a grit campaign. So like, hey, if you're getting something from Brynn on this show right now, and you're looking for a way to say, man, I'm really enjoying what Brynn's laying down, and you want to help Brynn out, help out Grit because he's hosting the camp. I mean, this is everybody helping everybody right now. So
Mike Rowe has got to be happy right now.
Yep.
Yeah. So I'm just going to toss it up there one more time. Scan the QR code if you want to help out Brynn, kick off this Grit Foundation. It's an excellent thing everybody's doing. So we're in full support of that.
Yeah.
All right.
Got to get the younger generation plugged in,
man. We got to,
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, back to our regular scheduled program. All right. So Brynn, where were we?
Yeah, he was dropping
knowledge.
The True Flow grid, and we were talking about basically how was that more of a system sale process or just a service call?
We do it on everything. So every single service call we bust out the True Flow. Every sale we bust it out. Yep. So it's the value of it, because what better way to show customers, their ducts are tight and airflow is bad than using it. So no, one thing with building science, you do have to slow down. Instead of giving techs, 5-6 calls a day and they're running around ragged, we slow down to where we'll only give our techs 3 maximum calls, just to give them enough time to actually go through and then capture that. And we've seen the tickets massively increase, and we've seen a lot of those calls, at least one of them will turn into some type of sale. So you do have to slow down with doing building science. So we do everything.
Yeah. Yeah. Because I was doing maintenances, and I would have Measure Quick give me like a red flag, and then I'd move into the True Flow grid.
Yep.
And I feel like I've got to benchmark every maintenance. So I change it up. Every maintenance, the initial gets a True Flow grid. And I can get other things from Measure Quick when we do a follow up. But
Mhm.
I mean,
have-
you're blowing me out the water with
I gotta,
science, man.
Brynn, I gotta ask you a question, and be straightforward with me.
Mhm.
Do you guys utilize forecasting?
We do.
Okay.
Yeah, we do.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Because
we
it's
do.
fun, man. Whenever I go do a presentation and I'm trying to like explain what forecasting does, and I've in our world, our little world of the development of that, we think this is freaking awesome. It's easy, but then if you stop and think about it, it's not as easy as you would think, right? And I understand that that's a problem, and so like I've noticed that like if I'm teaching a class and I'm like, hey, who here has a true flow? Who here knows how to use it? And then a lot of hands go up and I say, hey, who uses forecasting? It's like crickets. Like, and I'm
Mhm.
like, oh man. I'm like, because that's like the funnest feature of that tool, right? You get to design what the future is going to look like.
Absolutely.
So I'm just curious. But yeah,
Yeah, we do. Maybe not all the techs, but the senior techs do. We use it the most, Chris, for trying to figure out if what kind of heat pump we can put back.
yeah,
We're
yeah,
getting a lot
right,
of electrification requests. So
for
if
sure.
yeah, if we're gonna put a heat pump back, it kind of helps us know if we need to modify the ducts or not. But we do use it.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that's
I'm gonna
awesome.
go out on a limb and just say I don't think you guys ever install a 5-ton.
No, nope. I haven't bought a 5-ton probably in 10 years.
My
Yep.
man, Jenry Garcia heard that, and he's not even watching.
That or 100,000 BTU furnace. I haven't bought either one of those in probably 10 years. Yep.
Dude, every load calc I do, man, it's
Yep.
oversized by like a ton. It's
And
Yep.
crazy.
and have never had a complaint, eh, Bryn?
Never had a
Yeah.
complaint. Never had any
So
issues.
So I think we've talked about this quite a bit because we're friends, but man, I moved to the great north, right? Like I'm over
Mhm.
here and sitting in my basement right now,
Yep.
and here's what I'll tell you. My basement is always chilly.
Yep.
And so, you think about two-story houses. Well, I've never lived in the north, obviously, and I haven't even spent much time in the north. So this is all new to me. I mean, hell, I'm like above ground right here, but if I went through that door, I'd be underground, right?
Yep.
It's really weird. But I've noticed that like this house stays super chilly all down here. Um, and I'm kind of like about to start evaluating this thing. So there may be some content coming from that. But what I was going to say is like 5 tons in this world, I couldn't even imagine, dude. Cause it's like, yeah, it's a 2-story house, but it's like, I've went through the whole summer and I could have never turned the air conditioning on for downstairs because it's
Mhm.
plenty chilly down here. So there's like no load. And then if I keep my fan running, I noticed that I could balance out the temperature. So I made some quick short strides here because my wife was like, man, it's cold down there and it's warm up there.
Yep.
And I said, oh, okay, well, I'll just leave the fan running nonstop. Right. And because the humidity is not that big of a deal here, in my opinion. That's kind of a fun conversation at work. But I left the fan running and I went from no joke. I was tracking it and I had probably a 10-degree delta when we moved in the house in the first couple days. And then I've decreased that delta to about 5 degrees between downstairs and upstairs just by running the fan.
That's
That's
awesome.
yeah. So that's pretty neat. So it just kind of goes
Not
to
here in
like,
Florida.
yeah, you ain't running your fan.
That's a good humidity call, though.
Yeah.
I do have a humidifier in this house, which not very, didn't have many of those in Louisiana. But so I started taking it apart just to look at the components in it. It's
That's
kind of
awesome.
like, what is this?
Yeah. What is
What
this
is
new
this thing?
thing? This new thing in this market?
Yeah,
Because Brynn,
exactly.
you're from Chicago or
Michigan area.
Michigan? Okay, yeah,
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
yeah.
Yep.
Because the different climate zones are just so different. Like
Oh,
Chris and I were talking about ductwork, how different it is up there, and it's strange because
dude.
I'm a New Yorker. I moved down to Florida. Chris is for a Southerner. He goes and moves up north.
Yeah.
Now he's a Northerner.
I tell you,
So
man, I love it. Like, I'm having a great time here. Like, I've been through a summer and I have yet to like soak my shirt. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't have a sweaty shirt ever.
all right, that's enough.
Yeah, he's showing
keep
off
it-
now.
Keep it
Yeah.
going. It's hit 95 yesterday.
It is a awesome the different climate zones. So the last couple of weeks I've been training in Utah and Colorado, which are both kind of arid climates.
Yep.
And there is a distinct difference outside. It was like 90 degrees and 25% humidity, and it was hot, but it was like no big deal. But
Yep.
if I go to Chris's neck of the woods, in July or Florida, I'm sweating when I get off the plane until I get back. So the climate
At
climate zone
80.
helps. Yeah, at 80. Yeah, the
Yeah.
climate zone
Yeah.
is really important.
It is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Brynn, I want to pick your brain, man. How did you end up in the education side of the world?
Very good question. So when I finished trade school and I got into the workforce, I had went back to see my instructors and just thanked them because things were going well and I appreciated a lot of the stuff. And
Mhm.
they were happy to see me, and they were probably at the end of their training career, so they had put the bug in my head. Hey, would you ever come back and teach for us? And it was something pretty cool. I thought it would be awesome to do, check it off the resume. I didn't think I'll enjoy it as much as I did. And actually my father, who's in the business also, he taught for trade schools also. So once I started doing it and the dopamine hit I would get from seeing a youngster put something together, or their first brazing project, or for them to understand and see that light bulb thing come off, and then to see them
Right.
leave and have skills, it was like no better feeling. So that was as I got rolling more in my career, that kind of became more of my focus is education.
Cool,
Yeah,
man. Cool.
It's really cool.
Yep.
And that's what led you to kick off HVAC.
Absolutely. So when I was doing contracting business in my earlier starts, my beginner part of my career, as I was learning building science, I felt bad. It was like I invested the time and knowledge and money to go learn these things. And really, our schools are setting a lot of contractors up for failure. Like a lot of this stuff should be focused on more so than it is. And I don't
Mhm.
know if it's maybe I think the problem is systemic. I see it all over the country where maybe trade school just doesn't have enough time to cover these things, and it's like quite often when we do the things in our business, well, especially when we get into the shell, we can average anywhere from 30% to 50% energy savings. And just think about that savings and what it can do to a family. Some bills I've seen we've reduced quite a bit where they were making like $1,000 a year back from the
Wow.
savings. So just imagine
Nice.
you put that into an investment account. Now you can break the cycle for a family where a kid can go to college in 18 years.
Yeah.
So once I seen kind of the importance of actually doing our business the correct way and what impact it actually can have on society, it just became a focus. So that's what started HVAC.
That's
That's
freaking
awesome.
cool, man. Yeah. Yeah. A lot of people forget about that nugget right there where you're like, man, you're dropping down the utility bills of someone's home. Comfort goes up, utility bills go down. I
Yep.
mean, yeah. You don't think about people who need that money, you know what
Yep.
I'm saying? And they're paying way more than they need to be paying.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's
especially the rates just went up here in Florida. We're
Absolutely.
getting slapped with flat rate like 40-50 bucks this year.
so.
Another, I was going to
Oh,
say
no.
another thing we do, Chris. Maybe contractors are listening out. Um, when you get good at selling building science and you're offering financing in your business, um, try to set your conversation up where the financing or servicing a debt will actually cover, or let me say that backwards, the money you're saving on your utility bills can help service the debt. That's been a nice trick that
Oh,
we've
yeah.
learned also where
Yeah.
the customer's bill, they have a financing loan now, but the energy savings that they're getting can actually help to service the debt.
Yeah.
So
So
yeah,
are you telling me that some of your clients may have so much savings on the utility side that it can offset what they were
Offsets.
paying? It's almost like a
Yeah.
free job if you look
absolutely.
at it.
Exactly.
Wow.
That's how we coin it. Yep.
Yeah.
Are
That is
you
awesome.
are you bringing in any like utility rebates or any rebates when it comes to jobs to try to tile that? Is that playing a role for you in
It
Michigan?
is. It
Yeah.
is. For now, the tax credits, which we know will expire, but the utility rebates, we do that, and then even our IRA rebates actually made it out the door, so those are active in the state. So we're tying that into our conversation as well, where the customer may get a substantial rebate, which is going to help them even more so.
Yeah. And that's like probably got the team working on that, man. I know you've got some talented people inside the staff. So I imagine it sounds like you've got the right people to go out and do this research to make sure that, you can bring the offering. And then there's got to be some level of a translator in your company, right? Who's like somebody who does research and maybe also translates and brings that down to the ground level and says, hey guys out there into the field, this can be done. This is how you implement it as a sales side of things. That way it's not pie in the sky theory implement. I've since I've been on this side and listening and going to the presentations and hearing all about it, what I would say is the biggest struggle is people who've never played that game about rebates, utility. They just don't want nothing to do with it because there's paperwork involved. And it's just annoying. And they're like, hey, it's just not even worth it. But it's the numbers I've heard, and especially like where you're at, I think it's pretty big numbers, right? You're getting over like, I don't want to quote numbers, but like I've heard things like in the Boston area and stuff like that, where they're throwing thousands of dollars at a heat pump install. Well, when you start getting into thousands of dollars, when you're battling to get a job between 3 or 4 contractors and you can put $2 to $3 grand back in somebody's
huge.
Yep.
Yeah, that's a major change, right? And so
you
got to start paying attention to those.
Yeah, absolutely. The Broussards do well with the electric company in the area. I mean, it'll get you in a lot of homes too. You gotta think about that.
Yeah.
Yep. Then a lot of areas you can stack them. Like we have some municipality-based rebates, like City of Ann Arbor. They're incentivizing you to put a heat pump in, and that's on top of the state, and that's on top of utility, and that's on top of a tax credit. So in some cases, we even seeing the customers paying very little out of pocket.
How does one,
awesome.
Brynn, how does one know how? I guess what I'm saying is, does somebody figure out the stacking for you? Does someone approach your company and say, hey, we're offering this, and you just got to hear them out? You know what I mean? Or is it like, do you have to really go seek that knowledge out?
You have to seek it. We part of my role, I do less sales now. My role is really to kind of stay on top of industry changes, to figure out those things, to take advantage of them in our business. And you brought up a good point. In a large contracting company, the different business units can get fairly disconnected. And one of the things I've done that really helped, I make everybody go get BPI certified, like CSRs, dispatchers, salespeople,
even the dispatchers,
our operations staff. Yeah, everybody has to. So that way, and it's been a benefit in a couple of different ways. One, they can empathize with the service techs and understand exactly what they're saying, or they can set the stage with the customer better. They actually, when you know something, instead of just repeating it, if you know something, you can talk from it, and customers can detect that. And then two, the employees are so happy about the new knowledge. They talk to their friends and relatives in the community, and it brings us business because they're so excited about it. So I've seen us, it's been real helpful with that.
That's really cool. I never heard that aspect of it, but yeah, I could see somebody. I mean, if you're doing dispatch, or if you're, even doing customer service from the inside sales point of view, I mean, I think that would be a really fun training, because it's like, nobody wants to like work for a company and not know what that company does.
Correct.
Right. Well, think about it. They answer all the phone calls. So customer calls in, and the dispatcher has no idea what a home air leakage test is or duct leakage. He doesn't know. She doesn't know who to send out, and you can't really coordinate a shop.
Yeah.
That's crucial. I mean, what you said there is absolutely huge for the contractors that listen to our show.
Yep.
Yeah,
they know where to focus on, and I think that's a keystone right there.
Yeah,
Brynn, I got to ask you. This is probably going to be the questions I'm thinking about what people are going to ask me or ask you after this show, and I bet you this is one's going to come up at some point. And I don't want you to put a number on it because I don't want to dig in your business. But if you had to put a percentage on it, how much do you think you invest in training inside your company a year?
Ooh.
and do you train your own employees?
We do. So we
no.
Yep.
I meant I know
I do.
you could train
Yeah,
them, okay.
I do. Yeah. So it is an overhead item, so you do have to account for it.
Right.
Yes, we do. I will bite the bullet, and if it's not me specifically, we will pay for it. Well, the more armed they are to have conversations, they just make the business more money. They're able to close and sell things once they understand it. So, um,
Right.
we we go through continuous training where in the shoulder seasons, I'll focus on maybe some deep concepts where we're
Mhm.
slower and we can take the time. When we're busy, we'll meet consistently every week for about an hour, and that's just to help us root out any callbacks. Like if I see a trend, like right now, we're doing energy audits, and something is coming up in their reports that we need to resolve. So guess what our meeting is about this week is how to resolve that. So every week we do an hour or less training just to kind of root out callbacks or rework or anything that's going to be damaging to the business or customer experience or anything like that. Um, Shoulder seasons we get a lot more deeper. We'll we'll go to our test house. We'll do BPI certification. I'll update them on things that we're changing in our business. If we're using a new tool or if MeasureQuick has a new update, we'll take that time to go through it as a team. So we do
Cool.
invest in
That's
training.
cool.
As far as the percentage, Chris, is really not that high. I look at it this way: our callbacks, we are a half of 1%. So I expect them to make one mistake every 200 calls.
Wow.
Um,
Dang.
if you look at the industry average, is probably around 10%. An average callback usually costs about $2,000. So training doesn't cost; it really pays. It really pays to keep your tech sharp.
Yeah.
It
Wow, man.
pays.
That's I would
Can
think
I make that a T-shirt for the symposium?
I would think the
Dude,
industry
that's
average would
awesome.
even be more than that, man.
I've heard 10 to 15.
Yeah.
Over two is considered where you should invest in some training, but the weekly stuff, if I see them bubble up, like if they make more than two or three mistakes per 200 calls, then we're looking into the root of the issue. And sometimes it's a procedure change. Sometimes it's not necessarily a callback, maybe a part fail, but we're real aggressive at keeping our callbacks really low.
And you got all the data. I mean, do you have the Measure Quick where it streams to like an office? So you got everything,
Sure.
man. I
Yep.
mean, it's like eye in the sky. You can see
Absolutely.
you get all the true flow reports, all the yeah,
All
that's
that.
amazing, man.
Yep.
That is wild.
So what's next, Bryn?
Um.
Hey, he's on the moon now. So
Yeah.
like, where are you gonna go? Mars?
No,
This is
just
it, we're talking like the Elon Musk of HVAC, bro.
no. Stop it. No, the training business is actually growing more rapidly. Just
That's
people are
cool.
interested of doing kind of our process, so that's where the bulk of my time is spent. And if I can, my goal selfishly, if I can get as many people plugged into the Air Doctors Matrix and to do low cal conduct design and air quality testing, if I can get them to test and they can see how it benefits their business, that's kind of my mission now. So that's what we're on.
I'd be more than happy
Awesome,
anytime
yeah.
you got a training event posted in the Facebook group, man.
Absolutely.
Keep guys plugged in. Just hit me up.
Well,
That's great.
Bryn, what more could we ask for, bro? What a heck of a way to start this season, all about building science and how to get, fast track it, right? Like you said, you're not going to fast track it, but you got to start that diet sooner or later.
Yep, you
Yeah,
got to
that's
jump in, and I'll tell people as we're leaving here, take one item, one tool. Don't buy it for the fleet. Just take one and just try it. Try it with your customers, and test everything. Come back with KPIs. Did it help me sell? Did I
right.
close? Did I move a product? Like just take one step at a time. And once you see how it works, and then you can make the bigger investment. And just keep
Mhm.
doing that small incremental thing, and you're gonna add more and more. Eventually you're gonna, you take over the whole house, and that's how we did it.
Yeah.
Nice.
What are you liking for IAQ? What do you put down in front of the customer?
Air advice. So
Air advice.
yeah,
Yep.
that's the monitor we use. Nice thing about air advice, we were able to give them our sales information. So it produces a customer facing report with all the parameters for
Nice.
IQ. And then from that standpoint, we can show the customers which parameters are out of specification and then tie it to a product that we want to offer. Like if I see high carbon dioxide, that will help me have the conversation about, maybe ERVs or something like that.
Yeah, getting
Nice.
some fresh air in the house. The
Nice.
solution to pollution is dilution.
There you go.
Source
buddy.
control, man. I source control.
And I love
All
it,
right.
man. I'm permanent load reduction. I mean, I did one last week, and whoop,
So
did
permanent
I hit a
permanent
hot
load
button?
reduction. So I'm just going to plug next week's show just to let you know who's coming down the pipe, because we're keeping this building science thing alive and keeping it going. Jeremy Beagley, right?
Oh,
Oh man.
Oh man, yeah.
Oh
That's
man.
Gonna be a good
Beagley.
show next week.
I'm
Gonna be a
glad.
good show.
I'm
And
glad I got out the way first so I can set the stage for the master.
You know what we're going to be talking about? Permanent load reduction and how that process works. So, and he's got a new class, which we're gonna, I'm gonna save that for next week.
There you go.
Yep.
That's
what
where we're
I'm
headed. All right. Thanks, Brynn. Appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna try to close this show out with the outro video. My program switched gears on me a little bit, so I got to make sure I do this right. If I fail, I'm sorry, but we're gonna see how this goes.
Yeah, we'll give everybody their money back if it doesn't work.
That's right.
Good seeing you guys. Thank you.
Thanks, Brynn.